Mike and Anne Marie Smithson. We have been married for 29 years. I'm 51. You are
2.
We have 2 children, 22 and 18. Both very active. Our son is into, I guess, good health, exercise, always on us about the fact that he didn't think that we ate properly. Our daughter is a competitive dancer, so she's busy 4 or 5 days a week in that. Both are very, very active, and mom and dad sleep on the couch at night. Back in December, I started a job, and when I started the job, I knew I would have more free time because I wasn't traveling as much. And I was a bit tired of looking the way I looked, tired of struggling to go up the stairs. I could get there, but it wasn't enjoyable. It was more of a challenge, I guess you could say. Going on vacation, I couldn't do some of the things that our friends wanted to do. So back to now I have some free time, I want to do something. One of the girls I worked with recommended that I come and see Rob. She said, call Rob. Rob will tell you whether or not this is for you. So called Rob. Rob asked me lots of questions that made me go, yeah, I got to rethink this, because the questions were more around what do I want? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to get out of this? What am I prepared to do? How long do I want to do it for? Which really made me think. So I knew point blank that I wouldn't do it on my own. And I also knew secretly, and I probably didn't tell you this before, so sorry in advance, I knew secretly that I was also worried about Mike and his health from a more of a hereditary perspective. Dad and grandpa, and seeing how they had maybe struggled a bit, I absolutely wanted to make sure if I could benefit from this, I want him to benefit from it. So I said, hey, I want to try this out. What do you think? You can come for a couple times. If you don't like it, we'll come back again and we'll figure it out. Reluctantly, we decided that we would come. We felt we'd probably be the old folks in the room. We would sit in the back corner, which to this day, we still stay in the back corner, and enjoy what we wanted to out of this. And if we walked away with just a few learnings, then we walked away with a few learnings. Well, then it got exciting, and we started to get more interested in it. And even though Mike would complain every time that he would come, it was okay because we started to see some results. And we tried to follow some of the different suggestions at the beginning, but we didn't have the commitment level we were looking for. But I think truthfully, the great thing was the challenge that Rob had, which was February 10th, February something till March for 5 weeks. And I'm a little bit on the competitive side. And there was a prize at the end, and all I wanted to do was be on the leaderboard. And from that point, I think we started to really see the results and really feel good about it. It became more of a discipline at that point in time because we strictly followed the meal suggestions. We realized that our diet could change without starving. We had pizza on Friday nights. We had the occasional beverage. But yet we didn't starve, and there were nights, I had enough salad, I didn't want any more salad, but I got used to that. Mm-hmm. Something else that I didn't eat well before. I only ate when I had time to eat. I skipped breakfast. Lunch was, if someone brought me lunch at work, I would eat whatever they would bring me because I didn't spend the time. Now I faithfully have breakfast. I faithfully have lunch. I have a snack in the afternoon because I know if I don't have a snack, I'm going to be done when I get here to work out because we don't eat until after we finish our workout. Personal life certainly does sometimes get in the way, but then we do the best. We don't beat ourselves up at the end of the week. If we only went twice, we can only do what we can do. We try to come and make it up if we can't. You'll get here the normal Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of routine, but we do it before we get home at night.
I know for me, you weren't doing it, I wouldn't do it. It's as simple as that. I need someone to do it with, and you're probably stricter about this part of it. I think I'm pretty good with the eating, getting that figured out. I still have my bad nights. I think this part of it, you're much stricter and more demanding, and I probably need that. I'm getting better at it because there's always something better to do, but once we're in the car and moving, I'm okay. So I think the fact that we're both doing it, in my case, the only reason I'm stuck with it is because we are both doing it. If it was just me, I may have started. I'm not sure I would have made it to this point. Now, when you're out of town for work, sometimes I can make it, sometimes I can't. Again, it just depends.
But you come on your own.
I have.
And I've come on my own.
Certainly come on my own. Yep. So I think we're pretty good now about coming. I mean, we're not 6 days a week. We're 3, which to be honest with you is 3 times more than we ever used to do anything. I think the reason I'm still here is because we are doing it together. Other than that, probably wouldn't have lasted this long.
But we do come together. But I think a bit of an inspiring story or example would be last night. Nasty round, 7 or 8 minutes, killer. You repeat over and over again. We're down to maybe 3 or 4 rounds of whatever we still have to do. And I took a deep breath and bent over and he said, come on, let's go. And I looked at him and he started and I thought, oh, I have to do this. So I went and we both took a quick breather and he says, how many left? I said 2. He says, let's go again. So we went again. And then the last one, I was ready to lie on the ground and say, I'm done. He's got 1 more. We got to go home. Let's get this over with. Let's go. And I'd never seen that from Mike before, but we did last night. And so that really, I guess, is a testimony to the fact that we're both trying to do this for each other in our own way. You asked about results. I'm really excited about results. I'm not quite where I want to be yet, but I have realized, and I did know this coming into it, that this is a journey and I needed to go slow and steady. I needed to be able to sustain it and I didn't want to gain it all back just because I had a bad week. So if we use, when we really truly did start, which I would say is 6 months ago, I'm down 33 pounds and you were down.
Oh, well, I started at 230 and I'm down to 186, 7, 8, depends, so right in there. So what is that, 40 and a couple, 42-ish? So that's where I'm at. Well, let's see, all my shirts, I've gone from extra larges, I'm down to larges, borderline medium in some cases. Pant size has gone from 38, actually bordering on 40 in some cases, I hate to admit, but 38. Today we just came from the mall and I had to drop into 33s. So the 34s.
You bought 32 shorts, come on. You bought 32 shorts.
That's right, you are correct. I was thinking these are 34s and I'm now buying 32. So. And
he can see his toes. He didn't see his toes for a while, right?
I can actually touch my toes.
Yeah. I went from, unfortunately, a 16 and an uncomfortable 16 because it didn't even fit me right, to the fact that I actually bought size 10 tonight. And I bought it at American Eagle. So my kids are gonna think this is really creepy now that I'm gonna shop where they shop. But I don't have to go to bigger people, bigger women size stores, and actually felt pretty cool to put those on. And even if I have to hold my breath a little bit, maybe the odd day when I put them on, it still felt pretty cool. So I can comfortably say I went from 16 to 10. My job prior to starting this was dress up every day. Suit, high heels.
Now you don't have to worry
now
about
I don't have to do that.
Okay. Okay, what about when you go out? If it's not, it's no problem.
I started to not feel good about what I was wearing and what I looked like in it. So I started to wear a lot of black. I started to wear a lot of loose-fitting things, never tucked anything in, never wore a belt. I tried to not show my arms. I wore a lot of sleeves or sweaters, that kind of idea. I can say that now, here I am with sleeveless. When you talk about what was it like and what is it like, the exciting part now, which doesn't sound very exciting when you think dollars and cents, is when I go and I put a dress on and it's too big. Or I go and I put that suit on because obviously I haven't cleaned out my closet and said I'm going to get rid of all my suits. So it costs too much to just do that. But I'm probably going to have to now because they are too big. And we laughed because I came out with a pair of pants a couple of weeks ago. I had to go to town for work, and the night before I'm packing my suitcase and someone told me that I should probably try things on. Never thought of that before because it was just, what do you want to wear? Pack it, away you go. And I put on the pants and I came out and I said to them, look, these pants are falling off of me. And what am I going to wear? And here we are like 8, 9 o'clock at night the night before I'm going, and I'm sort of a pack rat. So I went through my closet and I did find a pair of pants that fit me that I guess must have liked so much that I never got rid of. And I was good and I had better things that I could wear. Like I'll go back to this dressing room tonight, coincidentally. I looked at this pair of 10 and I thought, I need a 12. They don't have a 12. And I said to Mike, what do you think? And he said, well, try them on. You're not going to know unless you try them on. Well, then when I zipped it up, I'm like, ooh, they fit. And I turned around and looked and so it was a happy moment, I guess you could say. And it'll be exciting when I go home and say to the kids, look what I bought. Which is really weird to talk about it that way. But
I was going to say, this is not an example tonight, but my dress shirts now I have to wear fitted dress shorts,
Slim fit.
which I've really never worn in my life. For them to fit properly now, I have to get into a fitted shirt. So neck size is smaller. I don't snore anymore.
Which means I sleep, because I would sleep.
I don't snore, but I have to get into fitted shirts. That's cool.
Something else I did say when we were talking about why we did this. We did set a goal, and I do think it's important to have something that you're trying to strive for. Ours was more, or mine, I guess I could say, it was more, and we're going away in a couple of weeks, and we're going to California. And I just thought, you know what, let's make a goal that the two of us can buy new bathing suits, is all I was thinking at that point in time, so that we could display ourselves in these bathing suits in Florida. I know, doesn't that sound cool? No. And because usually I always wear a cover up, and it was, you know, sit still and then run to the pool and then look around and run back to the chair kind of idea, and sort of set the goal that, okay, let's see what we can do for California, hence the shopping trip.
My case, and I'm sure it's yours as well, this is it. This is my experience, because we've never worked out before. The last sports I played was probably high school, so I don't have a lot to compare to other than what I hear from other people. What you see is what you get, and everybody here is down to earth, easy to talk to. It doesn't matter if it's your first day or you've been here for 6 months. We go at a pace that works. Instructors are always very helpful, and
even when they have to correct you 4 seconds in,
they have to correct me 4 seconds in because I didn't do it right. But to be honest with
you,
you, I talked to Jen and I said, you have to keep doing that, because I tend to get lazy and I'll slack off, so she keeps me on my toes, which is good. I need that. I consider that very personal attention, which I think is important. In my case, I somewhat need that, or else I would become lazy. I would do the exercises wrong, or the workouts wrong. So I can't compare it to other places other than what I hear. And there is nothing snobbish. There is nothing...
It's not uncomfortable.
It's not uncomfortable at all. Come as you are, and away you go. As simple as that.
I think we're making friends too, because you're here with people usually around the same time all the time. You laugh together, you complain about what you're going to do or you just did together. You start to know things about each other, and it becomes a bit of a social environment, which you sort of look forward to when you get here, seeing some of the familiar faces, even to know what their pace is. Are they going to motivate you to go
Well, we can complain together.
Yeah, it's become, and back to your point about being comfortable here, one of the things that we didn't want to go into an environment where we felt that everyone was looking at us and judging us, for lack of a better way to describe it, or commenting about the fact we weren't doing it right or fast enough or what have you. And I have heard that about other gyms, not the same what Mike said. I've never really participated in any other gym environment to compare to, but I've heard about it. You don't find that here. Yes, we stand in the back corner, but we're better back there, because then
it's just
we feel more comfortable.
That's my comfort spot.
But yet, I'm not worried. If I had to go to the front row, I wouldn't worry about the fact that someone's going to be watching me or looking at me. Quite frankly, if they have time to look at you, then they're not doing what they're supposed to anyway, because I don't have time to look at anybody else either. And when I'm here, it's almost like it's just me, unless I hear Mike groan, and I look to see if he's okay, and then I go back to what I'm doing. But it's almost like we're in a private environment, even though the room could be filled with a whole bunch of other folks in the same. So very welcoming, very personal. We get the attention that we need. We ask for the attention.
Well, I do.
Yeah, and like
it's as simple as that.
We welcome it.
I need the direction and the help.
I think about it, and I understand what it is, and I implement it the next time, and the next time, and so on, and then it's something else.
It's really down to earth. Again, to me, that's it's down to earth. Again, walk in as you are, and that's good enough. Great instruction, great help, personal attention. If you're having an off night, it's all right. If you're having a great night, keep going, work harder. So I find that instruction is dialed in to you. I find that instructors recognize that very quickly, and they pay attention to that, whether you're new, whether you've been here for 6 months like we have. I find the instruction keeps pace with where we're at, and which is good. Instead of us, although we're keeping pace with instruction, I feel like it's keeping pace with us as well.
I would say that I'd like personal attention. I would like the compliments and the balance with correction that I get, because you need both to get better, but to notice, hey, you're doing a great job, remember when, really motivates me to keep going. So it's become very personal for me. I like how I feel like I belong here, and I like the variety. So, I have lots of friends who work out regularly and have their own routine, but they'll say that they went to spin class or they went to yoga or whatever it happens to be, but they always say they do the same thing. So when they ask me what I did, I don't say that I went to the gym. I start reciting, I did this and I did this and I did this. And they say, how long were you there? It's like 30 minutes, goes by fast. But I like the variety. I look at the card to see what we're gonna do. He doesn't look at the card. He wants to be surprised.
I do not want to know what's coming up next. Surprise me every time. I don't want to know what's coming. But that just works for me.
So I think the variety is another important thing that's kept us interested and motivated to come back. I also like the circuits because circuits, it's a whole bunch of different stuff usually that I don't have a comfort level with. So I know that I don't have to do it for a very long time, and I can say, well, glad that's over, move on to the next one, or go, yay, I get to go and do this. So it keeps me interested as well. I also like something that you've done a lot more lately than before, and maybe it's just because I'm just catching on to it, but you're trying to teach us something through communication. So through, email or Facebook or what have you, you're trying to communicate to us and tell us a story or teach us something that we can take away. Now, I've been reading them, Mike hasn't been, but I'm so interested right now that I want him to read it. I keep saying, remind me, I want to show you that. Yeah, because you're not on Facebook.
So the emails or the Facebook comments that you put out, my recommendation would be to keep doing it, because there is this normal thing, you have to hear something 7 times before it becomes reality, it becomes a habit for you. And if I only took one thing out of the 3 paragraphs that you typed, I took one thing out of it. And for someone else, they may take something different. So I wouldn't be worried that people have heard it before. I think repetition is a good thing. Repetition here is a good thing, right? They can't just do this once and expect results.
I've had to ask the same question
You're right.
more than once.
Yeah, what kind of yogurt should you eat?
With a story behind, I've had to ask that more than once. But I'm catching on.
All the reasons we talked about.
If I can lose 40 pounds in 6 months, anybody can. And I remember, I ate what I wanted, when I wanted, how much I wanted, and 10 o'clock at night, we're eating all over again. So that was constant, and I was never at a gym. I was never active. So if I can do that, something's working.
And that's it.
We're here 3 times a week. Again, it's not 6 times, but for those that can do it 6 days a week, great. We're doing it 3 times a week. We're eating right, and we're seeing the results. So I don't think that's a huge commitment. Maybe for some it is, but at half an hour a crack, that's not too bad. So it's not taking so much out of your life that you can't.
And I would just say to them, it will be personal for you. You'll get out of it what you put into it. So if you want to work really hard and you want to come more often, or if you want to come twice in a day kind of thing, knock yourself out. But if you don't want to, you can still get results if you give yourself time and go back to the piece where it's personal. And really, although it's hard,
they're hard because you're not familiar with it. It's new to me, having never worked out, getting the rhythm down, just learning, doing it the right way. But then they continue to be hard because once you're used to it and it becomes easy, well then up the weight, up the pace, up the number that you're doing. It's not supposed to be easy. Sitting on the couch is easy. That's easy. It is supposed to be hard, but not in a difficult to master kind of way.